Okay, this week's parsha is Parshas Chaya Sara, and the Noam Elimelech says an amazing thing based off the posuk. Ve'yu Chaya Sara, and the life of Chaya Sara was Mea Shana, 100 years, Ve'esrim Shana, and 20 years, Ve'sheva Shanim, and 7 years. Shnei Chaya Sara were the life of Chaya Sara. So she lived 127 years, and there's a famous Rashi where Rashi goes through and says that, Bas Kuf Kibas Chof, that her being 100 years old was like she was 20, and when she was 20 years old, she was like 7 years old in regards to the Yoifi. Rashi says specifically, the wording of Rashi is so why does it say Shana after every single time it says a certain number? It should tell you it's coming to darshan out those numbers for itself, to tell you Bas Mea Kibas Esrim L'Chet, that she was 100 years old like she was 20 in terms of Chet, right? She was clean from Chet, she didn't have any sins. Mabas Esrim L'Chet, Shari Enek Bas Einshin Af Bas Mea L'Chet, just like a 20-year-old, like without sin. She's not a Bas Einshin then, doesn't have any punishment. So to 100 years old without Chet. Bas Esrim Kamash Sheva L'Yoifi, and she was like 20 years old, like a 7-year-old, in terms of her beauty. Shnei Chaya Sara Kulin Sham L'Taiva, right? The life of Chaya Sara, that all of her life was L'Taiva. So Rashi says this, and Frak Noam Elimelech L'Chayr Manaf Gemina Shayse Kabas Zayin L'Yoifi, right? So the first part he doesn't ask about. The second part he says, who cares that she was like a 7-year-old in terms of beauty? Who cares? So Zok the Noam Elimelech, he says, near the Rashi Zal Kibim B'Dvar L'Ramez Al Beis Madrigas. So he says that it sounds like the Rashi is coming to hint out the two different Madrigas. That a person has to conduct himself, is obligated to conduct himself throughout his whole entire life in these two Madrigas. The first is a person has to be very careful from Aveiros, not to be over on any mitzvahs or loisaseh. So that's Madriga number one. Madriga beis Noam Elimelech is dainu gam dvarim mutarim, that even things that are allowed, k'mayachilo, shtil, malbushim, food, drink, dressing, ukadaima, tzarich la'achnas hakol al kedusha lechamim mehem l'shamayim. You need to bring the gashmius of it and bring it into kedusha, the eating, the drinking, the malbush, everything. Dahainu Adam shemalbish atzmai, that is to say that a person who dresses himself, who mekashes atzmai, makes himself look good, b'malbushim, b'kishutim yofim v'noim, and all these nice clothing. A person should make himself like dressing up in a way where he's presenting the malchus shemayim. And everything he should do the shem shemayim. And when he does so, when he does it like this, as I call Mashi, so then whether it's money we're talking about, whether it's clothing we're talking about, he'll be satisfied with what he has and he'll be happy with what he has when he does it l'shem shemayim. In his life, it'll be his life. He won't be living for other people, for other things, for even himself. He'll be living l'shem shemayim. But if he's not doing the l'shem shemayim, then he's always lacking something. He doesn't have enough ever. Turns out he doesn't have a life, and he doesn't even have his own life. He doesn't have anything. So Zok Noam Elimelech, this is the simple hint of when it says Bas Kuf Kibas Chof, that she was 100 like 20, Shalo Hayaba Shum Chet b'mitzvah saseh v'lois saseh, that she didn't have any sin whatsoever in the mitzvah saseh or in the lois saseh. Ubas Chof Kibas Zayin Liyoifi, Rem is the Madriga Beis, And when it says that she was 20, like she was 7 in terms of beauty, so that's coming to tell you the second madrega, the hainuk, my tinuk, that just like a tinuk, a child, shumikashin atzmai, that he dresses himself or she dresses himself. Ein yodei lispar atzmai, v'lachshik liskashik b'kishrit yalker, that he doesn't know, he's just putting on clothing, a shirt and pants, doesn't really know what's flying. Chaya Sara, just so too was Sarah when she was 20. When a person, when he's 20 years old, when she's 20 years old, so that's really where the tyrus kick in, and that's really when a person wants to, go out there and be all for themselves and do everything not l'chayr l'shem shemayim. Nevertheless, at that time, she did everything l'shem shamayim, and that's pshat. He says that she was kibas chof, kibas zayin liyofi. That's what it means. That's the importance of telling us that she was like a 7-year-old in the sense that she did it l'shamayim. She didn't do it for any other exterior motive. And of course, these are two very heilige madregas that the Noam Elimelech is teaching us based off the teachings of Rashi HaKadosh. And we should be takazaycha. We should takazaycha to be able to learn from this and to be able to implement these ways of living into our lives.